There we go. Oh, whoa. An error occurred. Wait a moment, then try again. But we're live somewhere else.
I was going to say, we're live somewhere.
We're not live on X. So I'm just going to play the intro. Hit it. Hello and welcome to another NS9 Postgame show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm Cody. That's Ryan. Buccos win. We're giving away sandwiches once again for a day game, Ryan.
That's right. Right. What is this? Afternoons with Ryan and Cody. And we get, this is like 2 in a row now. We get to give away some sandwiches. Let's go.
We're giving you guys the goods. All right. Well, before we go any further, BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season, from baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today, get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. And Ryan, we had ourselves a good one today.
Yeah, we did. Shout out to Sean, by the way. He's happy we're here. We don't.
Hey,
Cody
we're
and I
happy
don't
to have
get
you,
this.
Sean.
Yeah, we don't get too much of this success and wins and giving away sandwiches. So this will be fun. Another afternoon win for the Buccos. Took the series against the Reds, and they did it. Well, they did it with the pitching, which we've known all year, but they did it with the bats too. Last 2 games, the bats have been great. And hashtag raise it. We're gonna give away some sandwiches at the end of this.
Yeah, like Doug says, hashtag raise it. Although he cannot win. Doug, you've won like 5 times. You got to stop this, Doug. But anyway, like you said, let's get into the game. I want to start with the pitching. I want to start with Luis Ortiz. It was kind of a shock, I think, to everybody that he was going to come out as a starter, not as an opener. Didn't have an opener to help him out. But he comes out and he pretty much dominated. Only gave up 4 hits, gave up 1 run, and 7 strikeouts or 6 strikeouts?
7 strikeouts, career high.
Career high strikeouts plus 19 whiffs to go with it, Ryan. What did you like out of Luis Ortiz today?
Ortiz, man. No opener needed. I like that. We did the opener for 3 starts. Now just Ortiz kind of has been fully ramped up, comes out, gets his own start, and he dominated in a ballpark that is a bandbox, Great American Ballpark, against an offense that, they've been scuffling, but it is the Reds. Like, they have some good hitters in the lineup. But Ortiz he was attacking from the first inning on. So 85 pitches, 61 strikes, was pumping it in there. Like you mentioned, the 19 whiffs. He threw the slider about a third of the time, had 7 whiffs off that, but he was getting whiffs off everything. Cutter, 4-seamer, everything. He was just pumping it in there and was getting the outs. And he's done, this is his first start. I say start because he had the opener, but it's his first true start this season. This was his 20th in his career, and I think he last started last September. I went back last year to try to find, was this his best start ever? With the no walks and everything, it could have been, but he had a start last June, almost to the year. I think it was June 23rd against the Marlins. 8 innings, gave up 7 hits, but 1 run, 5 strikeouts or something. So we've seen that this is in his range of outcomes. And he came into this year and wasn't really asked to be that guy in the rotation, was sort of just a bullpen arm. Okay, then you kind of a long man, two 2-inning guy, was coming in with inherited runners, and they didn't really know what to do with them. And it's nice to see that when you need to call on him, he can come in and start a game like this, or he could just come out of the pen. But I think he's really settling into this role, whether it's the opener and then Ortiz going 4 or 5 innings, or it's just him starting. I'm loving it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like this is what's been missing with, you had the injuries to Marco Gonzalez, now Martin Perez. We didn't have a guy in the bullpen particularly that we were like, we can bring that guy out. He can start. Like, he's usually a reliever. So what they did was they did the opener, right? And then they put Ortiz in. And I think he's been proving himself lately. And then they give him the opportunity now. And I don't mean to dwell in the past, but look at a guy like Rowanzi Contreras, where, that's kind of, I feel like what they wanted to do with him was be like, okay, you could be a long reliever if we need you to be a follower on the opener follower type of deal. You can do that. And maybe, I mean, it's up for debate if they didn't give him enough chances, if they gave him too many chances. But then you lose a guy like Rowanzi, and now you're like, oh, we got to rely on Luis Ortiz to be this guy.
Well, you didn't lose Rowanzi. You just gave up on him.
Right. Well, us as the fans lost out on Rowanzi.
Right. I'm not going to I just throw that out there. We just gave up on him.
Right. So I'm very intrigued with this start for him. You saw flashes of it last year, like you mentioned. And I really hope he's a guy that can be this type of role player he's a long relief guy. He can come in after an opener. And if you have some unexpected injuries, he can be a starter that's already on your 26-man roster. Yeah.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see, because we know Martin Perez is on the way back. We pretty much have been doing 2 bullpen, days every 5 days in the rotation.
Yeah.
So, maybe they just leave. I mean, at this point, the way Ortiz has pitched, even with the opener, except for the third start in that opener series, he's been solid. So I don't want him to leave the rotation at this point. It's nice that he can be flexible and do both. But I mean, at this point, he's besides a couple, outings in the bullpen early in this year, like Ortiz has been really good. So like you even say, I mean, if we had a full rotation and Falter's pitching well and Perez is back, I don't know. I think I kind of want to see Ortiz at this point pitch over Perez. So, I don't know if we're there yet as far as we have 5 starters that we can rely on. But yeah, I want to see more Ortiz starting games.
Yeah. No, I can't really say much more. We've said it all. He was very good today, and looking forward to see what they do with him in the future. So let's move on to the next relief pitcher that came in the 7th inning. Kyle Nicholas, a guy who, he was a little rough at the beginning of the season, got really rough at one point, and recently seems like he's kind of turned it around, Ryan. He went 2 innings, gave up no hits, gave up a walk, but he had a strikeout. I mean, is Kyle Nicholas, has he turned it around? Is he the guy that we wanted him to be? Or you didn't even expect him to be? Is he just better than we expected now? What are your thoughts?
I hope so. He came in that 7th inning and leadoff walk, and I was just like, come on, like that just angers
here we
me.
go.
You're up 5 runs, leadoff walk. Like, what are we doing here? But then after that, he was pretty much no blemishes, like no hits, and it was all he had 1 strikeout, but it was a lot of weak contact, ground balls, pop up, fly out. So he was pitching to contact, was getting outs, and it worked. It lowers the ERA down to 4.70, goes 2 innings. I hope he's turned a corner, because this bullpen could certainly use it. And on a game like today, like we talk about Ortiz being that, he was that long man in the pen, or, maybe Ortiz now starts and Nicholas can be that guy where he can go multiple innings and, here and there. So, no complaints from him today. He was pumping it, 98, 90. He was getting up there on the gun, which was nice to see. Just needs some more consistency from him. And he had it going today. So yeah, I hope he can be that guy, because, with Bednar coming, if he's come back and healthy, you have Chapman, you have Majinski, who's looked like he's turned a corner. Nicholas turning the corner as well with, it's less chances for us to see guys like Dalton Jeffries and Ben Heller and Denny Santana. So that's all good. I'm all for it. So hopefully Nicholas has turned a corner and can provide something for this second half of the year.
Yeah, it's at this point of the season, you would hope that everybody's got it figured out. And it's nice to see that it seems like some guys are figuring it out. I mean, we still have, a GM who's bringing in random arms to try and fill spots, and then they give them too many chances, but you couldn't give Rowdy Contreras another chance. It seems like a lot of backwards thinking, but the guys that are here and the guys that are going to be around seem to be picking it up, seem to be turning a corner, and you can't ask for much more. I mean, maybe it's recency bias with this series win.
It is.
But I mean, yeah, right. I mean, you see a series like this and you're like, are they turning a corner here? Are they going to be, taking 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 every time now? I think with the bullpen games, if they keep doing that instead of, starting Ortiz, we may not see that. So We'll see what happens. And then also, you got to think about the lineup construction for every game as well with Derek Shelton. So speaking of the lineup, do you want to talk about Chapman first? Or we want to leave him for the end since he closed the game.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple different options. Like I said, you have the off day tomorrow, then you go into Atlanta. Right. So, Shelton could have went a couple different ways. He could have left Nicholas in for another inning, just went to somebody else just to get a couple outs. But, hey, went to Chapman, get him some work. We have off day tomorrow. Shouldn't hurt his availability in Atlanta. And, hey, he came right out and we got the good roller coaster of Chapman. 2 strikeouts, was pumping it in there, and, no hits, no walks. So we'll take it all day.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to take up this closer role now. Obviously, no save situation here, but he's got to take up that role now with Bednar on the 15-day IL. Yeah, I mean, hopefully this is what we get. Hopefully this is where Chapman is more comfortable as a closer than a setup guy. That would be great, but I think the jury's still out on that.
Yeah, and Rob commented here too about, Borucki is on his way back. I mean, that's another one too. If Borucki is the Borucki we know from last year, and he's not, going to struggle early in the season like Bednar and Majinski, did. If he's Borucki, that the 2023 Borucki, I mean, that just helps this bullpen out, even more. So it looks like if the bullpen was a stock, even with Bednar being injured, it's like you're sort of buying a little bit. Like I'm getting a little optimistic about it, but let's hope these guys have turned a corner and keep it up, and we can see less of these pitchers that Cherington has pulled off the scrap heap midseason.
Yeah, pulled straight off the couch.
Yep.
So now let's get into the offense. The offense had 10 total hits today, something I feel like doesn't happen often for this team. So that was a nice surprise here on a Wednesday afternoon. Right out the gate, Kutch he got on base, right? And then Reynolds hit
Kutch had the one hit today.
That was in like the 3rd inning or something like
that. That was the home run.
That was a second at bat. It was a second.
Yeah, I feel like he was on base though in that first inning, but they didn't score in that first inning. But
no, Reynolds extended the streak right after.
Yeah,
which was great. 23 hits for him. That man loves playing baseball in June. It's ridiculous what he's been able to do.
Yeah, he's obviously on a tear. He's got the hitting streak. Like, I was thinking about this today, Cody, watching that. So 23 games now he's now at. Like, I don't have much experience with hitting streaks for my long extended hitting streaks with my favorite baseball team. So right. When are we supposed to get I know it's a thing already and Greg Brown gets excited, when he hits it, he extended the streak. But when do we start really getting excited? And by excited, I mean is he breaking DiMaggio's hit streak record? are we breaking in on MLB when he gets to 40? Like, is that what we got to get to, like
Right.
40, or is it in the 30s? I don't have much experience with this, so I'm open to somebody in the comments. Let me know. But I mean, it's starting to get kind of fun to follow for sure.
Yeah, I'm with Wireless Grapes here. I think around 30 is when you start to get a little excited.
Yeah,
I think I said, like, right now as a fan, you're like, oh, this is cool. But then once he gets to 30 as a fan, I'm like, let's go. Keep it going, man. Let's get it going. And then, like you're saying, if ESPN's going to do breaking news on it, I think it's around that 40, 45 mark where they're like, okay, we got to see what Brian Reynolds is going to do here. But I've loved it from him these last couple of games. He's gotten it out of the way fast.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
first
nothing
inning,
to dwell on.
Yep. First inning, and he just last couple of games, and he's hitting. He just keeps. He's like a steady. Let's say he's not getting like he didn't have 3 hits today. He went 1 for 5, but like you said, he's getting that hit. He was he showed the power this past couple weeks. He's just been on a great tear. And it's like this was the hitting streak I thought we'd see from Adam Frazier. Like my Adam Frazier hitting streak, it turns out it's actually Brian Reynolds now. So as Doug says, anything over 30 is special. I mean, he's a week away from that basically. So we'll see how he handles it. But I mean, if anybody's going to handle the pressure of a hitting streak, it's Brian Reynolds, who's just like the most. Hey, Brian, you just got married today. How was it? Cool.
That's all right.
Like, So like I could see him handling this okay. But it's been fun to watch. It's getting fun.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. But like you said, he didn't really contribute too much today. Just the 1 hit and 2 strikeouts. But I think one of the big stories today was Rowdy Tellez. His biggest fan was in attendance, young Xander. You guys know the story. I don't know it as well. I just know that there's this kid that loves Rowdy Tellez, and for some reason, when he's at the game, Rowdy turns it on, man. And he did it today. He went 2 for 4, had an RBI. What do we think of Rowdy? Is Rowdy getting hot? Are we ready to say like Rowdy's hot?
I mean, he's been since that Canada series, like you mentioned, the fan Xander was there, because like you hear it, like you're like, oh, this whatever, how old he is, they're like he's insane. Rowdy's his favorite player, and it's like, what kid is picking Rowdy as his favorite player? Right. But I think the kid was like, he's from Toronto, I'm guessing, because he was at that series, so like it makes a little more sense. But
I think
Rowdy came up with the Blue Jays.
Did he? I thought he came up with the Brewers.
No, Brewers was his second
team.
Yeah, and then he came up with the Blue Jays. So I'm assuming that's where this kid became a Rowdy fan, because I don't know how you become a Rowdy fan after watching him in April and May in Pittsburgh. Right. But yeah, he's killing it in June since that Canada series. I don't know. We need this Xander. Can we get a GoFundMe going, like, and get him to every Sax Boy? Yeah, like let's get him
on the grift. Get him on the grift with Sax Boy. Sax Boy will show him the ropes.
Yeah, Sax Boy, get him around. He'll be sleeping in airports. It'll be great. But yeah, whatever we got to do, because the Pirates have said it time and time again. Rowdy's going nowhere. They are just waiting for him to come out of it, and apparently he has come out of it. He's not hitting 37 WRC plus, so that's a good sign. But yeah, another home run from him today. Wasn't even that. I think it was like 90. What was it off the bat? Like 90 something. It wasn't even that, but like just went over the fence anyway. Like he doesn't even need to hit it 110. Like
right. I was looking up. I'm starting to be a statistics nerd here. I was on Savant earlier. Okay. And I was looking at the highest exit velocities. He has the highest exit velocity of the game today, but it was a ground out. It was 112 off the bat. And then, like you said, like the home run wasn't hit super hard. He just hit it in the right direction at the right time, got a lot of barrel on it. And
here it was 95.6 miles per hour. So yeah, it's just, it wasn't like, it wasn't an Cruz home run. But hey, it works. And Lord knows this team can use the power. So it's great to see. Doug mentioned, Rowdy higher OPS than Hayes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Hayes is at these days. But yeah, Rowdy's going to be here. Ben keeps doubling down. And so as of right now, Rowdy's proven him to be correct, I guess. So keep it
Yeah,
up.
and
Let's just stay hot.
I don't remember if it was you that said this maybe on Twitter, but I saw it somewhere. It was like, the guys that have been in the organization a while, they get the short leash, but then a guy that you just signed for a bunch of money, you're like, well, he's going to get it together. And then 4 months later, he finally does.
But that was Alan Saunders tweeted that out.
Alan Saunders, yes.
About Contreras, the Pirates are like, oh, Contreras, we don't know what's wrong with him. We give up. We'll trade him.
Right.
Rowdy, oh, who's going to figure it out? It's just like, doesn't make much sense, but they spent money on Tellez. That basically what it boils down to.
That's how you can look at it. I think, this goes against everything in my body, but like, it's almost one of those things where they're probably like, Rowdy's a veteran. He'll figure it out. Contreras, on the other hand, has only been in the league for a couple years. If he can't figure it out by now, I think we got to cut ties. It sucks because now you see what's happening with Contreras. Like, I hate that Contreras has become a subject for this game because it was such a great game. There's no need to dwell on the past. But, just that the fact that he isn't a veteran and you don't know that he could figure it out, it sucks. Wish he was here still. Wish they could have, tried to figure it out. But a guy like Tellez, who's a veteran, he's been through slumps. Maybe this was the worst of his career, I believe. But
for sure,
he was able to figure it out. There was that story where he talked to his high school baseball coach or whatever.
Was it? Yeah, his coach and his dad.
Yeah, he talked to them, and then I believe it was on Pirates pregame. He talked about it, and he was like, "I just went back to what got me to the league, and that got me out. That's what got him out of the slump. He went back to how he swung in high school, how he got noticed, how he became Rowdy Tellez."
I didn't see the article where he was talking to Andy Haynes.
Nope, haven't seen that one, Ryan.
haven't seen too many of those. Haven't seen too many of those articles.
I'm sure the Pirates front office says, "Oh, it's out there somewhere. Go find it." But I don't believe that propaganda. So
no, but no, it's great to see. I mean, like I said, he seems like a likable guy. Like people want to love Rowdy. I mean, they gave him a curtain call in that one game. They want to. You don't even need to be that great, especially in this lineup in this offense. But if you're hitting enough power, you're playing, you're hustling, people are gonna love you. And yeah, we want to love you, Rowdy. So hopefully he keeps it up. I mean, I don't think he's gonna be hitting 352 for the rest of the year, but yeah, if he's hitting for some power, and because he's basically, I mean, they've been batting him fourth, fifth. He needs to be that run producer for this team. That's what they signed him for. So hopefully he's come out of it and he'll stay there.
Right. And like you said, like Ryan or Jim said here, we want to love you, Rowdy.
Yeah.
And you're getting there. We're starting to come around. You're starting to get us to want to ask you out to prom,
we're building up the courage. Yeah. We want to make sure we're good there. But
right.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, the whole offense, the runs just kept coming. I mean, so
yeah,
they scored the first run in that second inning, Jack Sawinski RBI single, which is like, that's like a headline story when he drives in a run at this point. So that was nice to see. It was only hit of the game, but he contributed. He's in the bottom of the order right now.
Yeah, I think the MVP on offense today was Jason DeLay, someone you didn't expect to be. He went 2 for 3, had 2 hits, 2 RBIs. I think both RBIs came on the double in the 7th, and he got a walk. So, like, he was the most efficient batter today, I believe.
Yeah, he's batting 9th too, which is
batting
where he's going to bat. But this is why DiNardo was pounding on the table for DeLay when they acquired Bart.
Right. But yeah, from a position that has been through the ringer this year, you start out with Davis, then his bat doesn't wake up. You're like, okay, we got to figure something out. Grandal was already hurt at the beginning of the season. And then they go and make a trade for Bart. And then it was like, oh, Joey Bart's pretty good. Like, let's keep going with Joey Bart. And then he had 2 injuries. He got hit in the head during BP in New York. And then I don't even know what's wrong with him now. I just know he's hurt. But, yeah, at a position that has gone through the ringer, you land on a guy like Jason DeLay, and he comes through. And maybe DiNardo was right. We love to rag on DiNardo, but maybe he was right. Maybe Jason DeLay can just figure it out. He can be that consistent backup that the Pirates desperately need.
Well,
and he showed it today.
At this point, he's 733 OPS, Cody. I mean, that's back. I'd say that's backup catcher territory. Then again, that OPS is like higher than most of our lineup. So DeLay, at this point, I think DeLay's your backup catcher, and Bart might be your starter when he's back and healthy. Like I don't, we don't know we still don't know what Henry Davis is at this point. We don't know if he probably still needs some AAA time. And then Grandal, I could be fine with Grandal just going somewhere else. So you got DeLay and Bart. Give me the most unlikely catching duo in the league. We might have to just roll with it. But yeah, DeLay's just, he's there, like perfectly average. And as Adam Perry says, a massive upgrade over Grandal. And he is at this point. And so when you see that from DeLay, like he's back, he's healthy. I love it. It's just, yeah, like DiNardo was not right. That's correct. But yeah, I mean, DeLay, he's there, he's back, and we just need a starter now. But maybe him and Bart can just split it.
Yeah, and I mean, if it works, it works. If that's the one position where you're like, okay, we got a platoon heavy, that's fine by me as long as it can work with guys like DeLay and Bart and occasionally Grandal. I mean, Grandal has had his moments, right? Obviously. But, sometimes he comes through the hit. Sometimes he comes through the double. Sometimes he'll get an RBI for you. It's just that it's very, like, occasionally, very rarely. But I feel like those are the times where I'm always watching. So it feels like it's frequent, but I know it's not.
Well, the other thing, too, is the front office spent money on Grandal. So, he's
going to get the opportunity. He's going to get the opportunity.
Right. So, yeah, and I mean, we just mentioned the lineup. Pretty much everybody had a hit except for Hayes and Onyo Cruz. Hayes is just OPS down to 584. Like it's not a good spot right now for Hayes. But I mean, kudos to the rest of this lineup for hitting Ashcroft today. I mean, Grant Ashcroft came in with an ERA right above 5. Yeah. Doesn't strike out, 1 per inning. Like he's just not that great of a pitcher. He's pitching in a hitter's ballpark. Like, so kudos to the Pirates, Tellez, Kutch, Nick Gonzalez had a hit. Connor Joe came out of it, little 2 hits. Maybe Connor Joe can get going a little bit. So he's not playing as much now. So hopefully, maybe Connor Joe can, 2 for 3 today. He had a walk, so he was seeing the ball well. But yeah, it was just a good all-around effort from this lineup against the pitcher that they should have hit. I mean, just frankly, yeah, they should hit. We've seen a lot of games this year where we're facing a pitcher who's got a 5, something ERA or high 4, and they're just pumping a 92-mile-per-hour fastball right down the middle, and guys are just can't hit anything, But so kudos to them for not doing that today and actually hitting and scoring 6 runs.
Yeah, no, I was going to say guys like this, like Ashcraft, are usually our kryptonite. At least they have been this season. A guy who's struggling, and the Pirates just seem to be their antidote. They seem to be the guys to get other guys out of slumps, and they didn't do that today. And it was great to see. The last thing I really want to touch on, is there anything else you want to talk about the offense? Because I have one more thing.
Yeah, I mean, subtle. Kutch hit his 11th home run. He just kind of keeps chugging along. Leadoff spot.
14 home runs away from tying Roberto Clemente.
Isn't that
Pirate? That's awesome.
That's crazy.
If he can do that this year, I mean, that'd be insane if he could hit 25 home runs this year.
Right. He's 37. Like it's crazy to see what he's doing at that age. And yeah, I mean, it's just another, if he gets there, or even if he gets, I mean, it's just another chapter of Kutch and Pirates lore. And I mean, he's just been that dude. So,
and I mean, if you look back at Pirates lore, we've had some great leaders who are the elder statesmen. You look back, you have Honus Wagner, 37 years old, best player on the team. Right. You look back at the, I think, 1979 Pirates. You had Pops, Willie Stargell, 37 years old, best player on the team. And now you look at the 2024 Pittsburgh Pirates, Andrew McCutchen, pretty much the best player on the team when it comes to getting on base. He's had some trouble with He's had some trouble with the strike zone, but I think that's been league wide. People have been having trouble with the strike zone this year, but you've seen it's frustrated him a lot. But yeah, he's that guy. When it comes to performance, he is the leader, and he's just shown it every day. Last thing I wanted to touch on here, but before I do, just want to remind everybody, #raise it in the comments. We're giving away free sandwiches today. That's 2 in a row for Ryan and I. We got 65 people in the drawing so far, so I think we have 108 at least watching this right now. So be sure, get those #raise it's in. We want to give you sandwiches.
That's right. And this is our first time we've been on, so I just wanted to throw out, last Saturday was our tailgate.
Yes.
It was awesome time. Good to see everybody there. It just I couldn't, I was talking to Donardo as we went into the stadium for the game and got our Kutch bobblehead. Just like we've had live podcast tailgates before, and we've had good turnouts and we've had bad turnouts, for a couple one we did late in the season, which was a terrible idea. No one showed up. But it was just, we had a great spot. It was hot, unbelievably hot on Saturday, as it's been this past week, and people turned out, man. And it was awesome. Yeah. We had bags and bags of Primanti sandwiches. We did the post-game show, at Primanti Brothers after the game, which was awesome. And so thanks to everyone that came out, and looking forward to it. I wish we could do these things more often, but looking forward to it for next year. Or if there's a playoff game coming up, we'll force those guys to get back up here.
I'll be there.
That's right.
But yeah, it was a blast. Somehow we ended up with extra sandwiches. That was odd, but because there was a ton of people there. But anyway, thanks again to everybody for coming out. It was a good time, and we hope we see you next time if you couldn't make it this past time. But the last thing I want to hit on here, and it was very subtle. I kind of almost missed it because MLB TV likes to cut things off as things are happening at the break.
Right.
But Oneil Cruz strikes out to Ashcraft. Ashcraft got excited, and he told him to sit down. And Cruz whipped his head back and started chirping him. And I feel like that's the first time I've seen that much emotion from Oneil Cruz. And it's like Doug says, these guys could be as fiery as anybody else, but they don't show it. And this, I think, was the first time I really saw Oneil Cruz show it. As a fan, I love that. And back to Doug, he may be frustrated with his play a lot. But to just see it, and especially against the Reds, after that happened, I thought somebody was going to hit somebody and we were going to have benches clearing.
Right. We've had them in recent years with the Reds before. Yeah.
Right. It's a little bit of a storied rivalry here. So I was like, are we going to get a benches clearing brawl here today? But yeah, I was impressed. I guess impressed is the wrong word, but I was very intrigued with how that broke down. I think, cooler heads obviously prevailed. He didn't go after him, whatever. I think Cruz was just kind of reminded him.
I think Cruz was. He looked back he was just like, "What are you saying? What was that from Ashcraft? It just was out of nowhere.
I think he was just excited, man. I mean, these pitchers will do that. AJ Burnett did it back in the day. I mean, it was slightly different circumstances,
right? But it also wasn't like it was a momentous spot of the game. There was bases loaded and Cruz had said, I don't know, maybe Cruz said something to him at another time. I don't know when, because Cruz did go 0 for 4 today, but yeah, it was just one of those, he just is kind of real fired up and yelling towards Cruz. And you said Cruz kind of just whipped his head back, and like you said, he didn't chase after him or say. It just looked like he was kind of what are you saying? What
right.
What are you, what's up? But yeah, no. So as I say, you're not, you were happy to see it, that, hey, he showed some,
Right.
Yes, exactly. Jim, Ashcraft's greatest accomplishment was striking out Cruz in the 3rd inning of a game they lost that he got,
Right.
lit up in. So it was just weird. But yeah,
But it's one of those things
don't
I
poke
feel
the
like,
bear with Cruz, maybe.
right. He poked the bear, and it's one of those things that reminds you, like, these guys are competing. I know a lot of times, we have real bad losses, and you see guys kind of giving up, and that's kind of the nature of the game, right? You have 162 of these. At some point, you're going to have a game where you're losing like 10-1, and you're like,
Right.
not our day, whatever. I got to go out there, swing the bat, do whatever. And as fans, we get frustrated with that. And today, even though they were winning, it was the game was in the bag, but to still see that competitive fire from a guy like O'Neal Cruz, especially, who I have a lot of expectations of him, and I think he's starting to grow into that. He's starting to grow into that star player, into that guy you can rely on for a hit. And to see that from him specifically, I was very, very happy as a fan. I was like, these guys want to win, and they don't want to take anyone's crap. And
Right.
I really, as a fan, that was great. That was great to see.
Yeah. And we'll, Pirates, now we took 2 series against the Reds this year, which division games, they're, we know how big they are. You've taken 2 series now against the Reds. It's nice to see. So yeah, maybe we'll see something later on this year with the Reds, because we're not done with them.
Nope, not done with them. Maybe, I don't know. They come back to Pittsburgh. Maybe we have a Sunday day game where the bench is clear again. Those are always fun. But we won't have Yasiel Puig taking on the entire Pirates this time. So
that was ridiculous, yeah. And he was traded at that point, wasn't he? He was like a member of the Indians.
Was it that game, or was it? I think it may have been a game before that. Did that happen? I thought so he was traded. That game happened where he was traded. That was in Cincinnati. I think the game where he took on the whole team was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I remember the Pirates.
I think you're right.
The Pirates were wearing the Sunday yellow throwbacks. Yep. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
I remember him getting into an altercation, and he had just been traded. So he wasn't even a member of the team.
Right, yeah.
It was like, okay. But anyway, let's get to some sandwiches, man. Let's give them away.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. We've gone too long. But anyway, get your hashtag RaiseIts in. This is the last chance to get in the contest. Anything else we got to plug?
No, I know we've been so used to plugging the tailgate. But, subscribe, check out tomorrow night, NS9 Live. The guys will be on the off day. So if you're,
I think, do they have
in
a guest?
Bucko withdraw, they'll be in.
Do they have a guest tomorrow? I can't remember.
They do. Has it been announced?
I don't know. There it is. Jim announced it.
I didn't want to give anything away.
I know. Jim Callis on the show tomorrow for WNS9 Plus.
Yep.
That'll be a great show. Always love seeing Jim on the show. He gives great draft analysis. Last year with Skeens was great. Yep. I think they're going to do a little bit of Skeens talk with Jim, because Jim was really into him last year. He was the main analyst for Paul Skeens. Too. So we'll see what Jim likes about like this. Jim Callis greater than Jim Rosati.
Come see Jim Callis do a Skeens victory lap.
Right. He's going to do a Skeens victory lap, and then he'll also do a 2024 draft preview. So looking forward to that tomorrow. But without further ado, let's get to some sandwiches. 68 people in there. I know we got more people watching. You got to get that hashtag raises in. This is your last chance, guys. I'm going to draw it in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Some familiar names in there.
Who's it going to be?
Sherrod Learn. Sherrod, I believe I saw you at the tailgate. So congrats, sir. We're glad to see you at the tailgate, and glad to give you some more sandwiches. So hopefully you didn't get too stuffed at the tailgate.
You could have taken a whole bag of sandwiches home.
Yeah, we threw around the idea of handing them out to like some, less fortunate folks around the stadium. But then we were like, they're just going to yell at us and be like, no, give me money.
Good point. Good
But
point.
yeah, congrats, Sherrod. And we'll get that to you. Just make sure you contact us however is easiest for you. You can email us at northshore9@gmail.com. You can DM us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, on Discord. Whatever's easiest for you, reach out to us and we'll get you your sandwiches. So, yeah, great show today, Ryan. Great
Good win.
outing by the Pirates. Great win. It was a good one.
Yeah, got to keep it up. Atlanta this weekend. We've taken a series previously from the Braves, so that was in at home. But we'll see what they do this.
And now
this
they're depleted. In that series with us, they lost Ronald Acuna Jr. So we'll see if we can take some more games from the lowly Braves.
The Braves. All right, I'm done.
All right, guys. We will see you later. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow for NS9 Live, WNS9 Plus.
Peace.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.